Yoshicord workshops. We are doing the top tier matchup boot camp. We're finally finishing it off. I know it's been pretty basically months in the running, but finally getting the last three off. Today we're going to be going through the Falcon matchup. And first presenting will be Eduporp. He's been a long time member. He's been around longer than I have been in the Discord. He's probably been playing longer than that too. So yeah, and I think recently New England PR'd. Is that right?
Yeah, just got 12th on New England PR.
So, his skill is legit, his knowledge is legit, and he also has a mean Yoshi. So, he knows what he's talking about in the matchup and what is going to be good for you guys to know. Um, some couple ground rules, just this is going to be an interactive workshop, so there is going to be, asking questions, there's going to be call and response and things like that, but you know, um, if you can keep yourself muted, just so there's not any like unnecessary background noises, or um, try to keep the offhanded comments or the jokes to a minimum, just to let the teacher teach. Same thing with the chat. I encourage you guys, if you can't use a mic or if you're not, comfortable using a mic, feel free to use the chat. But again, keep in mind that this is being recorded, so you know, don't goof around too much. Make sure that you don't want anything that you don't want in a recording to be seen. You know, use common sense. Other than that, let's go ahead and get started with the workshop. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Edparp.
So yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm Eduporp. As Wu said, I'm now on New England PR. I'm the number one player in Maine, and I have been playing Melee for almost 10 years now. The first tournament I watched live was EVO 2015, and that was basically what got me into playing the game for real. I used to be very active on Anthers Ladder, and that was really the start of where I got into knowing stuff about Yoshi, was playing against Gwex. For those of you in here, I'm sure that you should know Gwex. He's one of my first training partners. And then more recently, sort of in the post-COVID range, I played a shit ton of games with Gwex, Daniel, Mono, especially Fraser, just a lot of Falcon Yoshi. So I think that this is sort of a matchup that I have a lot of experience in, especially against a lot of different play styles of Yoshi. So I think that I bring sort of a unique perspective to it as someone who has always kind of. It's a matchup I've always felt able to punch up in, if that makes sense, where on paper I've always been worse than those players, but we always have pretty good games when we play. So sort of just to start, when I'm dealing with a matchup, really the most important part is thinking about how the threat ranges work and how risk reward works. And so what I mean by that is that threat ranges in general, I like to think of in terms of unreactable burst ranges. So what that means is, in general, 15 frames is a benchmark, but I tend to use slightly larger numbers, especially when you're actually playing mix-ups. I'm a Falcon player. My job is to make a lot of different ideas rather than having a true unreactable burst. That's a bit more of a complicated topic. If we would like to talk about that more, then I'm happy to, but I'll leave it at that for now. And quantifying how that impacts where the characters want to stand, and which, and that isn't just horizontally but also vertically. So, as an example, let me switch scenes real quick. Just in a normal game, say that I'm on Battlefield, if I throw my Yoshi down into the center of the screen, just anyone can answer this. Is it a good idea for Falcon to be jumping right here? Is this hard for Yoshi to deal with or easy for Yoshi to deal with? And if it's easy, how would Yoshi deal with it? Yeah, it's easy. What kind of ideas am I looking for Yoshi to be using here? Yeah, up tilt's a great idea. Up smash, DJC up air, up angle F tilt. I especially like that one. I would also mention jabs here. I think that jabs are very important if you're expecting or seeing jump in these sorts of close ranges. Yes, crouching, excellent. So we often have this idea that to beat an idea, we have to throw in some commitment. Crouching is insane for Yoshi here. If I nair here and Yoshi's crouching, notice that I can just barely hit Yoshi's head with my nair. Crouching means that there are many less timings at which I can hit that Yoshi, and if he's looking to parry, it makes that much more consistent because there's that sort of range above Yoshi's head that can't be hit, but he can parry it. I like all of those answers. So already, what does that tell me about where Yoshi wants to stand relative to Falcon? Before I even think about anything else, I already know that Falcon is scared to jump next to Yoshi. This should be quite clear just based on this one thought experiment. What about at this range? Can Yoshi threaten me for neutral airing right here? Is that really easy for Yoshi to do? Especially if I'm dash dancing and mixing up my back airs and sometimes doing fade back knee and sometimes overshoot kneeing. No, that's much harder for the Falcon to deal with. I agree. Yeah, Yoshi wants to smother him. I like that wording. One way that I think of it is that Yoshi likes the scrap zone. Like all of these are good wordings. I'm waiting just a second. I see a couple people still typing. I want to make sure people get a chance to answer before I move on to the next topic. Best thing you can do there is take space safely, I think. Yeah, short hop bear is good there. I don't like egg here, and I'm going to explain why right now. If I'm at this range as Falcon, I'm not able to count frames with my current setup. Neutral B, yeah, that could work. That's something that's more like a GUX type answer. So this is something I'm going to kind of reference a couple times through this, is that there's a few ways to approach Yoshi, and I kind of quantify them as GUX answers and everyone else answers. So GUX answers are answers where you force yourself into a scrap and you say, no, fuck you, we're playing a scrap. Everyone else may say, yeah, okay, you can sit at your range. GUX says, no, man, we're playing this range 800 times. So here's my thought about Yoshi here is that he absolutely can try to take space safely here, but the biggest threat from Falcon here, I have the ability to safely put out aerials, but the actual threat I'm exerting, what is Yoshi scared of here? Because if I did dash short hop stomp, for example, oh man, that's kind of awkward. Like I can hit it, but stomp's frame 16, jump squat's 4 frames. Even if I'm perfect, what is Yoshi threatening to do on reaction to a dash stomp? Yeah, parry's what I'm looking for. Up tilt also absolutely works. But here's the thing, if Yoshi parries a stomp here, yes, run in. Yes, excellent. So there's two huge options here. If I jump in, Yoshi can just dash under me. Or Yoshi can parry. Those are both great options here. Something like parry and then double jump cancel nair over to the right here, and then Falcon's off stage. Oh, I'm sad. So that's not really a core idea here. So what is Falcon actually threatening? It's not a jump. Yeah, it's grab. This is the grab range. This is where if Falcon's here, I want to do that. I would like to do that to Yoshi very much. Yeah, Yoshi is totally allowed. Sorry, that's a very good point. Yes, I don't need to approach. But if I'm threatening anything, it is dash JC grab. That is 100% the threat to the Yoshi here. So, but I do want to point out that I am talking more about the range here than actually being in the corner. So even if I'm this situation, I would argue that I'm threatening dash JC grab, but I have less of a dash dance idea. Like if I'm dash dancing like this, I'm gonna get caught with a walling aerial. Like a short hop forward air would kind of farm me here. But if I'm here and I'm crouching, then I'm threatening to do that. Does that make sense as like my point? Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with the specifics of your point. And then finally, I want to talk about one more range, which is sort of out here. So what are the ideas for Falcon here? Can I dash JC grab as a burst unreactable option here? Am I close enough to do that? I have a no from sneak. Yeah, fly across the stage with some bullshit. Yeah, exactly. So I want to really emphasize the difference between this range and this range. Notice that this is kind of a no dash short hop apart. If I'm at this range, I'm threatening dash JC grab, and it's very good, but I'm not threatening dash short hop aerial. If I'm at this range, here's what I tend to do in this matchup. I really like up air at this range because that really calls out the Yoshi for approaching. That's because I've played with Gwex. So Gwex at this spacing would approach and jump here, or approach and F tilt, something like that. So I would use something like approaching up air, approaching there. Those are sort of the aggressive ideas here. Let me get my Yoshi back to ground level. But the other thing, or is there anything else that is good for either Falcon or Yoshi in the spacing? Who do you think is happy right now? Like, if you're the Yoshi, are you happy with this? I think Falcon, nah, I'd like some more opinions on this. I'm asking a very sort of abstract question here, so there really isn't a wrong answer. Falcon, I think Falcon likes the space. I think Falcon plus space equals happy. I think I would want to close this distance if I was Yoshi. I'm kind of excited about the fact that he's in the corner because he's really bad in the corner. So if I can get away with taking the space safely, it's good. But it's kind of a gamble. Yeah, I agree. Want to let one more response come in. You have to kind of commit to closing distance, and then you put yourself back into his unreactable range. Yes, absolutely. So this is kind of a very good response. That gets to the crux of what I think about this spacing, is that whoever commits to close to this range is now in disadvantage. But if I'm at this range as the Falcon, and I try to approach like this, you have 11 years to short hop fade back forward air, and you're fine. Like, that is not unreactable. Do we agree that that is something we can react to? That if I'm at this spacing and I dash, that Yoshi has plenty of time to sort of adjust to that. So I do agree in general. The general sentiment is that Falcon is more happy with it. I agree. Because Yoshi's end goal is to be like this. I mean, literally not have any space between. But I think that it's less clear that this distance is bad than a lot of people are led to believe. And this kind of gets to the second thing that I want to talk about, which is risk reward. Actually, before I do that, I want to open floor to any questions about these spacings. So I'm arguing that this space is great for Yoshi. I'm arguing that this space is great for Falcon and that this space is inconclusive. I think that Falcon has slightly more tools to go from this spacing to the spacing that he likes, but I don't think that this spacing is clearly winning for Falcon the way that some people can let it feel. And in part, that's because Falcon has to jump. He's allowed to. Yes, of course. Frame advantage, sorry, is a huge factor. So Sneak Egg is really good in some matchups. I'm gonna caution you against using it against Falcon. I can react to the egg happening and crouch cancel it, and then dash JC grab the end leg at a lot of spacing. A lot of spacing, sorry. Yes, I agree. Frame advantage on a lot of this matchup in particular is getting the frame advantage on Falcon because he does not have any fast moves. Absolutely. So where does the lack of fast moves come into play? In here, in particular. Neutral air, the first hit of neutral air comes out 11 frames after he jumps. Um, Jabs, Falcon loses pretty bad to CC. Falcon doesn't really have meaningful tilts. Down tilt is quite good, but it's not good in the situations we're talking about yet. So the second component that I think really makes this space less good than you would think for Falcon is the risk reward based on percent. So I think I don't have the flowchart on me. I didn't think to grab it, but regardless, Falcon has really good punish game off of a grab against Yoshi. I think that this is something you probably all have experienced, is that if Falcon grabs you, you're probably sad. Low percent down throw is very good. There are ideas with like stomping underneath a double jump cancel. Stomping over sort of a double jump cancel idea. Sort of in the mid percents, you can up throw up air, and then you go back to down throw, I believe. Falcon's very scary off a grab in this matchup. And he's one of the few characters with the ground speed to make it really scary to try to play the ground matchup in response to him. Yes, absolutely. Um, in general, this is really true for Melee in general. I think people understate how much reward you get out of being a little bit better at defense than your opponent. And not even better than your opponent, better than whoever your opponent's used to hitting. Um, this is something that, I mean, I think I win most of my sets off of this, is that I try to be just a little bit more annoying to kill than every other Falcon player. So I will use SDI, I will, you know, down B an extra time, I will down B on stage out of juggles. Um, Anything that I can do to get that extra mileage, you should make use of that. And that's a big part, I think, against Falcon. It's one of the biggest things that separates, especially midweight characters, the decent players from the very good players. The best Marths that I've fought are the ones that take two grabs to kill instead of one and a half. The best Sheiks that I fought are the ones that kill me when I try to up throw double up air, and instead they SDI away the first up air and double jump back air me for it. That type of idea also applies to Yoshi. Using your armor in creative ways, ending it in creative ways to fall out of combos earlier, sneaking in with up airs where a combo isn't true, wiggling out. Yes, absolutely. All of that is going to skew the matchup. But in general, if you're going between two comparably skilled players, Falcon's grab game is still going to be powerful against Yoshi. Um, Compared to, I mean, this is at zero. This is the most extreme example. If I hit a Nair at zero, I've just lost an interaction. Um, I don't want to nair at this range. Hitting nair is bad when Yoshi's at 0. Yoshi gets to press a tilt, press maybe even a grab at some spacings, and it's not really a neutral win. When is if Yoshi's at 0, what does Yoshi have to do for hitting neutral air to be good? So I'm Yoshi and I just did something that made Falcon's nair good to hit against me. What did I just press? Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Yoshi. Falcon is hitting a neutral air against me. What is Yoshi pressing that made the neutral air a good choice? I'm arguing that in general, neutral air is a bad choice by Falcon at 0, but there's one choice Yoshi can make that instantly makes it a good choice by the Falcon player. Yeah, exactly. It's jump. Excellent, Masor. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yeah, if Yoshi's in the air, the nair grab is true at 0. So it's really important to be aware of how you're using your basic movement based on your percent. If Yoshi's in the air and I press neutral air, I'm getting a grab. There is no question about this. This is something that just works. Um, so why would Yoshi be jumping at 0? What's good about jumping at 0? There's a lot of good things, but just kind of give me some ideas of reasons that a Yoshi would want to jump at 0. Yeah, double jump armor, sure. Do we need double jump armor at 0 though? Like, I mean, we have crouch cancel. Crouch cancel should be plenty strong at 0. Is there anything that we can double jump armor that we can't crouch cancel at 0? Yeah, neutral air. Neutral air is a pretty big hitbox. Yoshi's like to scrap with that. To use my beast ass aerials, yes. One that I would throw into the ring is that forward air is an option that works. Forward air can hit a grounded falcon and you get a combo off it. Similar idea to the yeah, some bullshit. Can you be more specific about that, Sai? Like what is the bullshit you're scared of from Falcon at 0? Yeah, stomp. Um, Even if Yoshi doesn't have a hitbox out, if you get stomped at 0, you're actionable. Yep, absolutely. The fear of stomp. But keep in mind, if stomp doesn't knock down yet, if it wouldn't, so for example at this percent, when it sort of hits you into the ground and you get stuck there, I'll show it again. If this Yoshi jumped into this stomp, he would get a free up smash, for example, on my end leg. Short hop knee. Um, so the thing about knee at very low percents is that it can actually be minus on hit in some awkward circumstances. It's like got just a little bit too much landing lag to really feel good at 0. As the Falcon player, I really wouldn't want to press that button until maybe 35 or 40. Once they're at 35 though, like here, let me just close enough. I dropped the input a little bit, but you see the idea that at 35, it starts to be good enough that you're actually getting true reward off of it. Yeah, it's very important to think about not just the abstract how scary is a move. It's sort of unintuitive for Nair to be more scary than knee. The reason that I know that is because of the Samus matchup. So against Samus, I can low neutral air and then shield, and it's safe against CC down smash. Knee is not. Knee always gets CC down smashed. So I use that idea against Yoshi just from having that sort of specific matchup knowledge. So we talked a little bit about Falcon's risk reward. That I'm not going into super depth about why grab is high reward. I think that it's something that is general enough that it's not worth spending a ton of time on that. We spent a little bit more time on why aerials are not necessarily high reward at low percents. Does that make sense? It is largely because from Falcon's side, hitting grounded Yoshi with an aerial is scary, and Stomp is bad if Yoshi jumps. So you're playing a 50-50 where, again, the risk reward just isn't there. I don't want to give Yoshi a 50-50. I think I deserve better um, as the Falcon player. I think I can do better than a 50-50, so I will try to grab. And if I'm wrong, I might get neutral aired, and then I can CC grab that anyways. Or I can stay grounded, maintain the status quo, and look for a later opening that is more clear. Also, of course, worth mentioning, Yoshi does have to eventually deal with this. Yes, Falcon gets to choose his position. And this is something that you can call out. A lot of Falcon players will forget this and just kind of try to engage. They think that the strength of being fast is that you're allowed to engage more quickly. And I really think that's a misunderstanding of how speed functions. I think the function of speed is that you can be many places, and that by disguising your intent, they have to account for more things. So you're forcing your opponent to have more thoughts. Does that wording make sense? Does anyone have questions on that wording? I think of this as building your opponent's mental stack. So Falcon may be reactable in a lot of spots, but by forcing them to think about more things, this is a studied concept. Reaction times get slower the more things you have to think about. So implicitly, just by doing more things, you make it harder for your opponent. Well, the Sheik players aren't going to have thought. We can't really. No, no, no. My bad. My bad. Sheik aside, you do make it harder for yourself, but you can practice your own things. So yeah, like I'm doing a lot of things when I play a set, but I've been doing them for hours and hours, and I've seen them all before. If it's new to you, it is absolutely much harder. Derpy, I think that this really, yes, I agree. I think that this really gets into, I've heard Ultimate players talk about this concept a lot, where there are kind of two brands of players. There are problem creators and problem solvers, and I think you sound like a problem solver, where you identify a situation that's hard, you let your opponent create a situation, and then you answer it. I try to follow the opposite point of view. I try to throw a bunch of shit at my opponent and then say, okay, now do something about it. I'm giving you a problem. You need to prove to me that you can solve this problem, or else you're not worth bringing more levels in. Um, you can absolutely do both. I don't want to sound like it's a black and white thing, but there are definitely people generally fall a little bit more into one camp than the other. Are you referring to the problem creator? Yes, I agree. I mean, that's what I do against Peach. I'm going to wall with neutral air. You're going to prove to me that you know how to double jump cancel up air, or we're not going to get to play any other interactions. Or sorry, for Peach, it's hyper float. But the idea is the same. It's a hyper float, whatever. It's a double interesting wording. I'm not going to read that one. No, you're good. But yes, that is fundamentally what's going on here. Is I'm going to create a situation. My opponent has to prove that they can deal with it, or I have no reason to adjust. And I think that's more of a fundamental fighting game thing, where there are a lot of people who will over adapt in Melee in general. I would be happy to spend the rest of this time talking about that if we want to. Um, that is a bit of a digression from the core ideas that I wanted to talk about in this. Um, but absolutely come back to that. Ask me more questions about that if you would like at the end. I've been talking very linearly about threat ranges and risk reward. I'm very much simplifying. I'm only using lateral space. I'm not talking about platform ideas. And really, I think platforms are a lot of what makes the matchup function how it does. Um, One of the stronger Yoshis I've fought is Coco Bunnies. And Coco Bunnies is the best Yoshi full hopper I've ever seen. Those who know, know. That dude used exclusively full hop back air and spaced it perfectly to hit the top of my head during my Falcon neutral air. That's a really strong idea. It only works if both your vertical and horizontal spacing is very strong. Because neutral air kind of arcs upwards. Full hopping is very good. What's the risk of full hopping? Coco Bunny's absolutely used it very well. It is a strong option. But it's not a checkmate. What can I do to beat full hop? Yeah, I'm so good at air to air. I can do all of those. Let's imagine Yoshi does. Let's imagine Yoshi does this full hop, right? So I'm giving an example of how this will look. We all see this back air. What is Yoshi about to do if I do this? I'm just dashing under. No, the Yoshi goes over my head and I up air him as he's landing. So Yoshi's, think of it as like Yoshi at the inside of the battlefield plat, and I'm up airing. Yeah, how to get down. As the Yoshi side wooge. So I'll walk through some of the ideas that I've seen that I think are very good from other players. Excuse my execution. I haven't played this character in a very long time. So if you're on top plat, a core idea is going to be shield drop waveland back on. Because what's the benefit of that? Actually, I don't want to explain the benefit of that. I think you all have plenty of context to understand why shield dropping and then double jumping. Ambiguity, yes. There's another key phrase that I would use here. Not only is it ambiguous, but I'm showing an option, right? We're talking about that mental stack idea. I'm showing, hey, I'm shield dropping and going somewhere else. Or I can just shield drop fast fall. Look at how fast Yoshi gets down from shield drop fast fall. That's pretty quick. So don't get too locked into the habit of doing shield drop nair or shield drop up air. Just get down and then dash. That's already a very strong option. I think that in general, this option is very underrated. Just shield dropping and not um, actually pressing an aerial. I think that usually the aerial is overstated in importance. I'm always going to be a big advocate of more advanced movement tech. So things like, okay, I've shown this is an option where I waveland back on and then dash off, but I can also teeter and then waveland the other way. Sashimi, have you seen? There's a Falcon player named Peddler. Have you seen her method for shield drop pass falling on GameCube? That's what you're learning. Okay, okay, okay. Yep. Yes, thumb down and then moving the index finger from L. Yep. That's what I strongly recommend. Yeah, Peddler's the homie. You absolutely should be doing that. Um, so I don't have the spreadsheet on hand. I have run all of the numbers for shield drop fastfall times based on when you're on based on the fastfall timing. And so I'm like a frame 7. Uh yes, two fingers. Yes. Owen, absolutely correct. Two fingers is the way to do it. I got to get on that train. Um so for Falcon, every frame earlier that you are on pressing fastfall is one frame earlier that you land. With Yoshi, I imagine it's pretty similar. Um, yeah, again, I'll probably have to remake it, but it's actually not that much effort. Um, Next time I give out a quiz, I'll probably do that while they're taking it. That tends to be how it goes. Um, but I do want to emphasize, so we've got shield drop fastfall, we've got our shield drop waveland mix-ups. Again, pardon my execution. I also, please correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there also a shield drop double jump up air aerial interrupt idea? Is that one consistent? That one could be good if that one's reliable. Yes, oh, and it's on my stream as well. Just so that that chat is on stream. There's a platform warp. Nair has the biggest window. Okay. Yes, what Anthony said in my Twitch chat is absolutely correct. Um, is that the difference between slow and fast fall speed is a huge part of it. Anthony, it's also gravity related. Yoshi's much higher gravity than Samus. Um, I don't want to get too in the weeds with the numbers, but the rule of thumb of you land one frame earlier when you fast fall one frame earlier is actually pretty good. All right, I don't want to get too sidetracked by the platform warp, but if that works, then that would be a good mix-up, just because it's another thing you can show. But I do want to draw attention to things like teeters. So shield drop, double jump teeter, or just wave dash teeter, and then you can do anything out of that. You're instantly actionable. So I could do a teeter and then get down. Also on the side plats. I do think double jump lands are relevant here, but not the key idea. My perspective on how Yoshi gets out of juggles in general is with visual and frankly even auditory tricks. Just putting out a double jump noise when you're not actually jumping all the way pushes my reaction time back a lot and makes my life harder. Yeah, teeter dash back, absolutely. Um, Sorry, I'm gonna do these as Falcon. The concepts are very similar, but I'm just much better at tech skill as Falcon. So stuff like that, where if you have a move you can teeter cancel, shield drop, fast fall, shield drop and armor into them, yes, absolutely. I think it's important to not always look for a reversal. I think a lot of people, yes, absolutely what Sai said. A lot of people get way too caught up in the idea of getting a reward for losing neutral. Which I mean, yes, Yoshi does get rewarded for losing neutral sometimes, but not when you're stuck up here against Captain Falcon. Another one, Anthony brought this up. It's pretty important. Teeter shield, teeter light shield are both very key ideas. Teeter light shield, right here, if you're holding right, um, which is easy to do on GameCube and impossible on my box layout, um, then you'll always get shield slide off from that light shield. Um, I also don't see this talked about. I have never seen this discussed anywhere. Um, Peter CC is fucking broken. Yeah, because imagine, okay, it's more of a side plat thing, okay? I never use it on top plat, but think about Sheik standing right here, and Sheik is forward airing you, right? There's two things that I'd like to do, and that's put out a hitbox. Yeah, back air, sure, whatever the move is. I want to be here crouching. That sounds pretty sick. If she drifts forward with it, then I get sent back to like here, and then I get to shield drop up air her as a true punish for getting hit by forward air at 60. Or she drifts back. I think it is. I think it is much better than teeter shield because you want to get pushed back. I would like to get pushed back. Well, maybe with Yoshi you could light shield here. For Yoshi specifically, so here's the thing. I don't know, dude. Sheik can be so safe on shield. That forward air, Sheik low forward air on Yoshi shield may still be safe. Back air is Falcon's strongest move against Yoshi in neutral. I love to counter, but forgot I haven't played in a while. Yoshi up air is very good against a lot of aerials, though. Back air is good at its job. That would be how I would put that. Short hop back air does not do many jobs, but the thing that it does very well. So if Falcon's using back air at the wrong time, I think it's egregiously bad. If he's using it at the right time, I think it's unbeatable. I think that it is. I mean, from the perspective of RPS, I think this matchup is generally less rock paper scissors than most. I think that's one reason that some Yoshis might struggle with this one, is that there isn't really a clear this move beats that move. It's so much a matchup of the gray area. And I think that that is what makes the strongest Yoshis. Well, yeah, I mean, it's melee. It's always going to be about punish game. I'm referring strictly to the neutral aspect of it, which is the way you press your move matters so much more than which move you press. You can win this matchup with all neutral air from either side. I believe that up to like top 100 level. Now, is that going to be harder than using better aerials for better situations? Absolutely. But I think that I'm using that more as hyperbole to drive home my point, which is that the way you press your move matters so much more than which move you press. Is Falcon up air really that different from Falcon neutral air? Not really. They do different things, but I can win interactions with up air most of the time that I can win an interaction with neutral air if I guess correctly. Frankly, I think that that's something that I've overemphasized to this point, which is that when I'm at those good spacings for Falcon, I mean, obviously grab is always going to be the best, but as long as I'm doing something correctly, it doesn't matter whether I'm doing something good. It's a very free form matchup, in my opinion. Bit like a game of chicken. Yes, I can see that. Yeah, Anthony agreeing with my teeter crouch cancel idea. I have to play with it more, Anthony. I'll get back to you as I think about it more, but I've been using it a lot against Marth as well. Holy shit, man. Heat or crouch cancel against Marth? Yeah. Owen, absolutely. So here's my thought. Um, Actually, this is the perfect time for this. One second. I have a tool for this. All right. So, um, not quite working. One second.
I guess while we have this quick pause, I just want to remind everyone, like again, really great interactions. But also let the instructor instruct. Don't overtake the conversation too much in the chat.
No worries. This has been good. Not to like superimpose on you, but I'm totally happy with how this has been going. All right. Unfortunately, the thing that I tested before stream has now decided that it won't work since I'm now streaming in typical fashion. That's okay. Oh, and I'm going to explain my opinions on what you're asking. And then, Wooj, I will absolutely get to your question next. Owen, my point of view is if there's a character sitting here, I want you to picture, let's say, character is at 60, right? If you get hit by a Falcon up air or a Sheik forward air or something at 60, then you get hit back to about the center of the platform. I don't know the exact distance, but we have some control over this based on how we hold our stick. So let's say it's about the middle of the plat. Are we good with that? So get hit while crouching, get hit to about the middle of the plat. My argument is that playing an interaction from that spacing is better than playing from the edge of the platform. And my perspective on that comes from the fact that Sheik up tilt is broken as shit. And that if I'm dropping on a Sheik who can just mash up tilt 4 times, that I usually lose that interaction. But if I get to play from the side, I can win interactions from a platform diagonally against Sheik. Yes, exactly. That's what I've experienced. I don't know yet. I want to clarify. I don't know yet if that's enough to make up for Yoshi having to experience stun after getting hit. If they're drifting forward, it makes it more complicated. Yes, absolutely, Owen. That is the intent. Uh, Yoshi month. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to refer to you as. I'm going to refer to you as Yoshi month. Unless you Gibson. Okay, thank you. Gibson. They don't usually drift in against you. Gibby. Okay, understood. They typically aren't going to drift in against you because I can explain in more detail if wanted. It's because it's bad. Drifting in against a regular shield gets you up aired. So this is like sort of the level 2 idea. This is not me saying that teeter shield is bad here. This is me saying that this is the counterplay to people being good against shield drop. Oh, and does that sort of answer your question? I know that this is a very minute point for us to sort of zero in on, but I do think that it was worth discussing. Um, does that do these points in general help with the discussion of getting down out of juggles? I hope that the points that I didn't mention are as informative as the ones that I did. Notice that I didn't talk a lot about mashing armor. I didn't talk a lot about wiggle air dodge. I think those are good. I can react to those. I can up B on reaction to wiggle air dodge. It is a little bit overrated with the way people are using it. Maybe air dodge down. I would be on board with an air dodge down if people are looking to learn that. I want to jump back to a question that Wooj asked before, which is about when to fast fall. So, in general, anytime you're looking to overshoot with an aerial, it should usually be not fast fault. I'm going to show you two aerials, and one of them is going to be fast fault. It's going to be more obvious because it's Falcon, but it gets the point across. So with fast fall, I end up right here, just outside of side plat range. With no fast fall, I end up all the way almost under the other edge of the side plat. So if I'm overshooting an aerial, more for when we're coming off a plat. Okay, gotcha. Yep, we can shrink that question down. For coming off a plat, is there ever a time that I wouldn't fast fall? Can someone come up with a time where fast falling's bad? If you can, then I'm happy to spend more time on it. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I would just always fast fall. I want my aerial as low to the ground. I want to be grounded as soon as possible. I guess similar idea where if I want to drift more. That's the only thing I can think of. Shield drop armor. Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, I'm fine with using that as a timing mix-up. Um, I don't have a concrete neutral interaction in mind where that mix-up becomes super meaningful. As an aside, I see that we're at about 7:30. We've talked a lot about ideas of the matchup. Would it be helpful for us to start making sort of heuristics for the matchup, or would we rather spend more time on small things? I'm happy to do either. I love talking about the small stuff, but I know that some people like to have sort of overarching ideas as conclusions. Falling with a slow nair to try and hit a falcon. I would never use that, personally. No, all good, Wooj. All good, Wooj. Wooj, I would 100%. I mean, Falcon's going to up air. That's my opinion. Um, but it's totally possible. I mean, if you're playing a Falcon who's really inexperienced in the matchup, and you've identified, hey, they don't know how to press up air against my aerials, um, then yeah, jump at them. But that's at that point you're playing a fighting game. You're not playing the matchup, and that's good. But it's sort of beyond the scope of what I can give you as a general coach. New topic's good. Cool. Um, so I guess I'd like to get a couple more opinions from the group as a whole, because really I'm doing this for you all. I don't have a specific like criteria of topics I wanted to cover. This is basically my concept was talk a little bit about threat ranges, talk a little bit about risk reward, and then evaluate how those things impact my perception of how the matchup flows. And so we've already really covered most of that. We've covered that Yoshi really likes the close ranges. Falcon really likes what a lot of people will call Zone 2, inspired by fiction. Um, that sort of range just outside the scrap, but where dash grab is good. Falcon's very good at sharking, but Yoshi is very good aerial tools. He's in general very good from above. So sort of the clash of Yoshi trying to come down from above, Falcon coming from below, is a lot of the clash. Edgeguard theory, yeah, absolutely. That would be a good thing to talk about. Um, so as Falcon, I'm a believer in recovering high unless you can double jump sweet spot. And if I'm being allowed to double jump sweet spot, you're never gonna edgeguard me. Yep, up angled forward tilt can beat Falcon Nair. You think he's bad at edgeguarding Falcon? I think reverse Nair covers everything if you read it correctly. I think Bear is usually not the play. Bear sends me up and I get another chance. Late neutral air is actually a much better move than early neutral air. In fact, let me see if I have a scene that will be good for this. Apologies, this may be scuffed for a second. Dude, holy shit, this is perfect. Bear can also get grabbed. Yes, up B is going to be huge. Down tilt's very good. Down tilt is good for sending me off stage. I'm not going to die to that move. I think that the crux of the punish game is based on sending me low and away, just like every Falcon matchup. Falcon is really bad when he's sent low and away. So let me. This is I need data for any who aren't familiar. This is the melee calculator. I've got my Captain Falcon at 80. And I'm going to put in Falcon getting neutral aired clean. And then in... is anyone colorblind? Are there any particular colors I can put in that make this easier for anyone? I think blue and yellow are usually colorblind friendly. Please let me know if this doesn't work. He doesn't have a really good bear from ledge like Spaceys or Sheik, and he's kind of slow to get all the way up there to get the high recoveries before he can play a drift mix-up. In that spot where you get that confirmed down smash at ledge, it's so nice, but when he has his resources, it's kind of tough. Yes, absolutely. I agree with all of that. And that dictates how you punish. So, Sai, my perspective on this matchup is that a lot of people struggle with this matchup because they end their combos wrong. As I said earlier, I've played a shit ton with mono. We've always talked about our games a lot after we play. There was one point where I played mono for like an hour and a half, 2 hours straight. And he took maybe 3 games total. Like it was just, I wasn't dying, I was a cockroach, I would live to 180 every other stock. It was just not a good session of melee from mono side. And I'm like, yeah, you're up airing me 600 times and you're always correct, but then I'm up aired at 120 and I don't care about that. Like, you haven't done anything to me. You haven't changed how the matchup works between 60 and 120. Does that statement in isolation make sense? That up airing me for an extra 60% doesn't necessarily have merit. Especially if you're giving up on a strong finishing move, like a down smash. I want to use that to sort of guide my next point here. I have both yellow and blue here. So yellow here is Yoshi strong neutral air. Blue arc here is Yoshi weak neutral air. Which of these Captain Falcons is easier to edgeguard? And actually, to make my point even clearer, let's say this was already sort of an offstage combo finisher, let's say. Which of these Falcons is easier to edgeguard? Yellow or blue? I see one vote for yellow. I see another vote for yellow. Interesting. Honestly, blue. Okay, we have disagreement. Can we get some more voices? I'd like to hear some more opinions here. Another blue. What part of the curve are we at? So Falcon gets out at the diamond. No, this is outside of double jump to ledge range. I mean, he may be able to if he does full drift forward, but if Falcon full drift forward double jumps, there's no way you should be allowing that, right? Do we agree that high full drift forward double jump should be quite easy to hit? Like we can down smash that, we can neutral air it. That is not a threat. Here, there's one more thing I can do here. Uh, there. This is what it looks like if they double jump in after. It's not the best, but this is the apex of Falcon's jump in blue. Do you see the sort of lighter blue at the peak of the jump? I don't know quite how clear it is. We have a ton of disagreement here, which I really like. Um, Someone who thinks yellow's better, can you give your case? I see that yellow's to commit to forward momentum. What are the downsides of being at yellow? Yoshi gets a better position for offstage punish with blue. Okay. What are the two factors that make an edge guard easier against Captain Falcon? Yes, you're further out, but you get more height. So which matters more? Does height matter more for Falcon, or does closeness to stage matter more? If the height matters more, which I'm seeing unanimously thus far, then which one's better for Yoshi? Does Yoshi want Falcon at blue, or does Yoshi want Falcon at yellow? Yeah, blue. And I firmly believe this. I think that this is a significant part of what will make you better at this matchup. Is recognizing that, yeah, this late neutral air feels weird to go for. Falcon has less ideas here. If you hit me at yellow here, is my pointer visible here? Can someone confirm or deny this for me? It is? Excellent. If you hit me at yellow here, I can up B. I have multiple edge cancels I can play for here, folks. I can edge cancel on this platform. I can edge cancel on this platform. I can edge cancel here. I can fade back to ledge with no edge cancel. You have to be ready for like 6 different drifts here. I can also just land in the middle of the plat, fast fall through. If I'm at blue, I cannot edge cancel over here. Up B is going to bring me up to like right here. Give or take. It's about another double jump. Is this true in all Falcon matchups? Like, are there a lot of characters that want to sometimes use weak hits to not give him height? This is basically a universal Falcon thing. This is how you kill Falcon. This is true for Marth against Falcon. This is true for Sheik against Falcon. This is true for Fox. This is true for Falco. All of these characters need to avoid using, for example, Marth weak up tilt combos when Marth strong F smash doesn't. Rouge, I think you're underestimating a little bit just how horizontal Falcon can move if he has enough vertical distance. It is deceptive because it's INI data. And it's possible that there's a little bit of wiggle room in terms of like how precise I put the points. But I do think that the core of my concept does get across here. It is possible that in this exact scenario, yellow is better, but I think that the general rule, I would say here, is that Falcon being low and close as long as he can't double jump sweet spot. This is a really important facet to it. As long as he can't low double jump sweet spot. Ah, Wooj, that part, if Falcon was that far away, absolutely. So based on this knowledge, I used weak and strong neutral air as my example. But I mean, honestly, let's hope that we're ending our combos with a better move than that. So what are some ideas that we've got? Let's end a combo right here at blue. I'll add a new line. Let's call this cyan. Take your pick. Yeah, down smash. Excellent. Sai, you're spot on tonight. Down smash. Hit one. This is perfect DI on this down smash. And we're lower than yellow, way off stage. This is on a side plat. If I move this to the floor, this is best DI possible. This Falcon's fucked. There is no living this. You should hit this edge guard 100% of the time. There is no mix-up. You jump off with reverse neutral air, hit him on his head, he's dead. I can show you the exact drift I'm picturing if that would be helpful to anyone.
Training mode, Yoshi. Go!
This is the drift I'm picturing. Approximately. With the goal being to hit Falcon on his head. And then if he gets to recover again, then you get ledge, get here, up tilt, neutral air, whatever. But he shouldn't be making it back to stage. Yeah, you can moonwalk. Yeah, the moonwalk's better. Yep, I like that. Yep, or threaten moonwalk and then don't do it, and then down tilt or down smash. Yep, all of that is great. You think yellow might be better for Yoshi? Are you talking over blue? I disagree, but I'm down to talk about it more another time. The crux of the idea that I'm getting at there um, is that hitting Falcon low is what matters, not out. Gent, you mean like that? If you're better, then you can do it with an egg catch too. I do not have egg tech on this controller, I'm sorry. But like wall jump, jump back, and then get ledge with that egg instead of landing on stage the way I did would be quite good. I would hesitate to egg. I think that eggs are usually bad against Falcon. I think that they usually help me more than they hurt me. Um, but I mean, worst case, you can throw the egg like this. Exactly. Yes, we're cross applying our concepts. I'm not looking for damage against Falcon. Falcon is at kill percent at 55. Down smash at 55 leads to an edge guard. That means it's a kill move. If you're playing the matchup like you need damage beyond that point, then I think that you have a misunderstanding of the risk reward ideas. You will have to close out stocks that way. I want to emphasize there will be stocks where you have to say, oh man, Falcon got to 120. Okay, time to, tee it in. Yes, hit them off stage, kill them. It's not that complicated. It's hard, but it's not complicated. Yes, and please don't edge guard with back air and forward air. This is a neutral air situation. Why am I saying that so strongly? What's wrong with back air, forward air? Bear lets me meteor cancel, and you're usually getting hugged off of that. Bear doesn't confirm anything. Can you explain what you mean by that, Owen? Oh, like confirm into anything. Yes. Unless they hold hard in. Sure. There's a stronger reason here. Two stronger reasons, in my opinion. Resets and, yes, gives the Falcon height. Again, everything comes down to, is it sending the Falcon down? Not active for as long. Thank you, Sashimi. Yes, that is absolutely the most critical point here. Neutral air has the most active frames. The most consecutive active frames. It is how you beat out Falcon. 30 frames is fucking insane. It means, and remember, comparing blue and yellow, even if you're on team yellow, even if you think yellow is better than blue, even if you think yellow is better than blue, can we all still agree that blue is still fine? Blue is still good. Like Yoshi's happy with blue. Right now we're talking about edgeguard theory, specifically Yoshi edgeguarding Falcon. So I'm arguing that, just to give a short synopsis of what's happened. Yes, exactly what Sashimi said. If you hit with the offstage nair, you always get ledge before Falcon does, same with edgeguarding Fox. So your goal is to hit Falcon offstage so much that you get that neutral air situation, you get to have ledge, you get a rinse repeatable, if not just a straight up down. And at that point, you're playing Yoshi. If Falcon's at yellow, yeah, then you need to make a read. So that's one of the biggest mistakes that Yoshis will make, that players will make. Peach players do this a shit ton as well. They'll see me in this spot where I have 6 mix-ups and try to react and cover everything. And it's kind of disrespectful of your opponent's skill. So what you need to do is you need to figure out what are the things that you would like to read and cover them. In my opinion, level 1 should be cover the ones that give Falcon center, let him have ledge. And then ledge trap him if he gets ledge. Yeah, you can play from plat, that's very good. If I was on blue, would I jump as Falcon? I would either jump immediately or I would jump from maybe somewhere around here. I would probably delay my jump, personally. Yes, absolutely. Reads should always be weighted. When I say a read, you don't want to be right every time. Your goal is not to be correct every time. Your goal is to kill the most often. And not give up your stage positioning, obviously. If you hit them off stage and then Falcon's in center, it's like, oh man, I fucked up. So when I say weighted read, which I really like that term, I tend to weight it towards covering the center stage ideas. So I'm covering this center stage edge cancel, falling through plat, landing directly on plat. In contrast to reading these sort of outer edge cancels and fade backs, because I'm really scared if I try to cover ledge and Falcon edge cancels into center, I'm in really bad disadvantage. I might just die for that. That is very realistic. Yes, reads that either kill or keep advantage. If it's doing neither of those things, then you should reconsider. So that's, I don't know if that helps in terms of my perspective on covering the high recoveries. I think that it is intrinsically requiring a read. and it will typically involve, using neutral air to cover a lot of times. Something I think about a lot with melee is space time. If you have a move that lasts for a really long time and you put a neutral air here for 30 seconds, that's kind of the same as covering a lot of space. Even though you sat in the same place, you're covering a lot of space time. Yes, absolutely. And of course, there will always, like, I want to emphasize, if you're letting Falcon go high, you're probably not going to have a 100% success rate. But that's the point, frankly, is you want to send the Falcon low. And the reason I brought up those mono games the other day was that I said, hey man, if you just like up aired me 4 less times and down smashed me instead, you'd win like half the games. And then we played 3 weeks later on Unranked, and he won 40 to 60% of the games. So you can go from kind of getting shit on by a Falcon player to going very close just by reframing your perspective of that risk reward. That is usually, yes, if you could have a 100% success rate, I would be playing a low tier. And I'm not. I'm playing a high tier, if not a top tier. Sorry, both blue and yellow are from neutral air. It's just whether it's strong or weak hit. So another advantage of blue here is that you're closer to neutral air ending. If I hit with, this is extreme, if I hit with the last frame of neutral air, that's a lot better than having 30 frames of neutral air I gotta go through before I can move in the yellow case. Are there any other specific positions with edge guards? No, I disagree with that, Sneak. I think that that's wrong. The only time that I agree with that is if Falcon can double jump to ledge. If Falcon is low, close, can double jump to ledge, then that's very hard to cover. Otherwise, I think that Falcon should be recovering high. I think that that is the safe choice. If Yoshi is the one recovering. So this is probably the most complicated part of the punish. So I don't know the percents off the top of my head because I always kind of feel it out whenever I play a long session, and it's been a minute. I've been on a little bit of a melee break. Yes, breaking armor is absolutely the play. That usually comes in the form of knee or up air. You want to use up air as soon as possible. I would have to dig them up. I don't know if I still have them actually because Giphy Cat went down. I used to have a ton of clips of armor break edge guards. Stuff like going out and kneeing the start of double jump, fading back with up air, or even just knee to break armor into an up B kill. Yes, break armor, then hit one more time. That would be the most concise way to describe it. Safe armor break into one more hit. Yes, there is a spreadsheet, absolutely. And I have looked at the spreadsheet, I just don't have the numbers memorized. I don't fight Yoshi often enough anymore. Annoying to convert off of armor breaks until up air breaks, and it's easy as fuck. Yes, the knee armor break edge guards are very hard. Yoshi is very hard to edge guard, in my opinion, at low to mid percent. So, okay, I'm weird. I'm a fucking freak. I break armor with stomp, because it breaks at like 30. And you can stomp up air. That's like my personal pet edgeguard thing. I've never seen anyone else go for it. Yes, up air and knee are generally his go-to. I agree. Gant, I've hit that before, I'm sure. I've just played so much against Yoshi that it's... Yeah, okay, okay. That makes me more at ledge. Are you thinking Falcon off stage or Yoshi off stage? Yeah, I've at least got a couple minutes. So I'll talk about Falcon at ledge first, let's say, just because I think that's a little bit simpler. You can hard read and try to sneak ledge from Falcon, but keep in mind that if you're wrong, then you get super gigafucked. Falcon is really good off a ledge, in my opinion, but only. Okay. Fox is good off ledge because he has the best option off ledge in the game. He has a 15 gallant ledge dash, and it lets him do any move safely. Falcon is good off ledge because he has 800 kind of okay options. He has the best nothing. But what Falcon does have is a decent ledge hop aerial. Ledge hop nair is pretty good. He has a decent ledge hop aerial that beats CC. He can stomp. He has a fine ledge dash. I think it's like a max of 10 gallant, but it's hard. If you're on Yoshi's, you have that horizontal ledge dash. I can do that one pretty well. You have aerial interrupt, no impact land, hack stash. You can do the sort of pseudo hack stash plat waveland. None of those options on their own would be hard to deal with. It's when Falcon is using 3 to 6 of them. Yes. And this is universal about Falcon Wooch. This is how I view Falcon. The hard part is that he has all of these options. I think that is what makes Falcon a good character, is that he has many options that are fine. Just try to hold center as best I can. So that is decent. Holding center will be fine. It will never be good. I think Yoshi's end up too stagnant against Falcon on ledge. This should be when you're at your most mobile. I'm screen looking like fucking crazy when I'm on ledge. I have nothing else to do. So if I see you in the scrap range, I'm just going to 50-50 neutral air and stomp. Why not? If I'm right, you die. If I'm wrong, I'm probably dead anyways. Yes, you should be baiting, you should be forcing me to make reads, you should be mixing up the visual information that I have. This is Rouge and Side. The two of you are kind of pulling together sort of the two biggest points that I've had throughout all this, which is that, yes, Falcon is good because he has many options. He's not good because his individual options are that crazy. Like, his individual options are good. Like, I don't want to sound like Stomp's a bad move. It's good. But a character that was only Stomp would lose. By the same token, a character that's only Falcon neutral air would be pretty bad. And then Sai's bringing in the point. Yeah, exactly. Ness is just Captain Falcon Stomp with no movement. At least no grounded movement. He's got some silly things. And all of his options tend to be pretty committal. Um, yeah, I like crouching, I like wave dashing, I like dash dancing. Those are like the core ideas of fighting Falcon from ledge. You can also CC down tilt if they're spamming Nair from ledge, by the way, or CC D smash. Those are both legit. But that's a hard read on Nair, and if you do it against me, I'll stomp you. So look out. Or I'll grab you. Um, for forward smash, let's see. I'm just gonna use 80% again. I'm just curious. My recollection is that F Smash sends a good deal higher than down smash does, so I'm just verifying that. Does that answer your question, Wooj? The forward smash is blue. It's like, yeah, the forward smash might hit. I really want to down smash Captain Falcon though. Like, I really want to down smash Captain Falcon. Yeah, F Smash is a really hard commit. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Gent. Yeah, have a good one. Um, do people need to start leaving, or do we want to spend a minute talking about Yoshi from Ledge, and then we can wrap it up? I apologize if folks were expecting like an overarching conclusion at the end, but it looks like, I mean, I'm totally happy with how this went. This was good. Do we have time to talk about Falcon ledge trapping Yoshi? Let's wrap it up. Yeah, all good, all good. Okay, acknowledged, acknowledged. I understand what you're getting at now. Yes, David. Sorry, there's been a chat. No, you're good, you're good. Yeah, so this is one where, I mean, I've had a lot of luck historically as Falcon ledge trapping Yoshi. Um, I'm sure at least someone in here knows off the top of their head how much advantage, sorry, how much Galint Yoshi has off ledge dash. It's relatively low, right? I remember Model T was labbing aerial interrupt up air, trying to get, was it a two-digit number? Yeah, eight. Okay, I'm in the right ballpark. Yeah. So the aerial interrupt, is that consistent now? When I was previously active in Yoshicord, it was like pretty rough. It was like 2 frames of wiggle room across 4 inputs. It's uncommon. Okay. I still haven't fought a Yoshi who uses it. So would it be? I would like to mostly talk about this in terms of without the ledge AI, in terms of purely ledge dash and those types of options. So limiting the Galint that Yoshis get to a one or two. I think that's the most the way that I can be most useful because it's where I have experience. Um, I tell you, Falcon back air, really good move. Um, so I do not have a good way to freeze frame by frame, but there's a pretty fundamental issue with Yoshi ledge dash. Let's see. What do we notice about the first couple actionable frames of the wave dash? So after wave dashing, where is Yoshi? Yeah, right after it, you're fully standing high. So if you ever have zero Galint, then you go from crouching to standing up right as you're vulnerable. That means that I can back air at Yoshi head height. And if you ever do a zero Galint ledge dash, I believe it hits you. It does, but nobody. Yes, absolutely. So, Owen, that's why aerial interrupt is good because it means that you're no longer relying on two galint to get through your back air and instead are using your aerial interrupt. That's fine. But also, um, yes, you can buffer crouch. That's very good. Um, but the core of the mix-up, do we agree that the core of the mix-up is going to be based around Falcon back air? That yes, Yoshi has options, but Falcon back air seems like the most obvious idea to ledge trap here. So I'm going to try to put a back air at the end of the ledge dash here, or exactly at the end of the ledge dash here. Notice the difference in how I'm timing it. So these are instant back airs, or I can read or adjust to the fact that my opponent deserves respect on their ledge dash, respect on their ledge dashes, and do a late back air to try to catch their first couple non-galint frames. So that's sort of the ideas at level 1 to beat ledge dash type ideas. Other things Yoshi can do are going to be like double jump armor. See, this is where percent matters a lot. This is what makes this matchup in particular complicated to talk about the ledge trapping in. I'm not pressing it if it's bad into armor from ledge. If it's bad into armor from ledge, I'm stomping. Yes, excellent. Yes, Gibby. Very good. Um, that's part of why I like Stomp so much. Stomp usually leads into a knockdown, and knockdowns are grab. And Stomp is very good against an idea from ledge. What is Stomp bad against? Yeah, moves. So if I show Stomp, which is like, let's say it's the high reward idea and it beats a lot of the normal things, then you have to start throwing out moves. What are moves really bad against? The bear and crouch, yes. What if I press this move and you just ledge hop nared at 35? Yeah, it's done. Like you just lost your stock for ledge hop naring. So the risk reward is pretty incredible for Falcon here. I think a lot of the matchup is centered around trying. Yeah, exactly. You don't do that ever. It's scary. It's not an interaction that happens. Edge cancel egg? Yes, absolutely. I like that. Um, have you seen the Sechi clip that is the counter to it? There's a couple. I can bear the frame of tangibility, so that's a core part. Edge cancel egg always has one frame of vulnerability, right? So I can hit the egg and the Yoshi at the same time. But also, I have never hit this, but Sechi labbed one where you hit the Yoshi and the egg with a dash attack at the same time. Yes, exactly, sashimi. Yes. So it's still a back air, but you're forcing me to drift in further. I agree with that. Yes, that is the merit of the edge cancel egg. Or I can hit the egg from here and then threaten the dash attack. That's why that dash attack is so valuable. I haven't worked on that yet. I haven't seen anyone work on it yet. If this matchup becomes more common, expect to see that though. Yes, I can try to find it in the cookbook after this is over. I'm not sure that I have it on hand. But it's a back air where you clank with the egg. The dash attack clanks with the egg as it hits Yoshi. And then you're actionable and off stage immediately. So the dash attack you can just combo into up air. You can dash attack, double jump up air like right away. Sneak, I'm just wrapping up this topic and then we'll probably wrap it up. I want to answer Owen's question because it is relevant, but yeah, no worries, Sneak. Um, I see that Sashimi's typing, so I don't want to end this brief topic too soon. Yes, instant fair. Yep. Yes, it's the exact same idea with Sheik. It is something I think Sechi stole it from Sheik. It is not unique to Falcon, but Falcon gets to wall jump up air knee out of it on FD. So that part's pretty cool. Um, oh, and what do you do after the ledge aerial interrupt? This is one that I need a little bit more input from you on because this isn't a sort of mix up that I've played before. I'm down to think about it. I just need more input about how Yoshi plays after the aerial interrupt. Like if he's just dashing, then I'm just gonna stomp here. I'm just gonna treat it like a fox. Level one option is crouch. I probably just play further away, Owen. It earns you more space. I'm just gonna hold center. Um, if I spent more time on it, I might have a better answer for Falcon. But I think that if I play at this distance, I'm totally safe. I get to put out a walling move with a slight fade back. And I'm threatening if you just sit there. What am I threatening at this range? Yes, exactly, Gibby. Yep, excellent. Yeah, I'm playing further away, but I'm still getting grabbed. Yep, spot on, Sashimi. And I can play that RPS unreactively. It's not free. Yoshi does make it back a lot, but the risk reward is insane. And Yoshi's having to make a lot of hard inputs. Well, I just need to mash my face into the controller. Yes, absolutely. I'm sure that there are a lot of Yoshi specific pieces that Egg Money will have more info on. Definitely ask him questions as well. Or, sorry, them. I don't know what Egg Money uses. My apologies. Oh, and does that kind of answer your question? I think Sashimi summed it up really well. That the RPS you play is that Falcon wants to be close to beat edge cancel eggs and armor, and he wants to play far to beat ideas like ledge dash, aerial interrupt, and ledge hop aerials. That's a really strong way of putting that. Thank you. Sashimi, if you have a question, this would be a great time to ask it. Yeah. We did not spend a ton of time talking about that. I mentioned it sort of briefly, sort of sideways about my opinions of how it works. Um, a lot of it is I mentioned how Coco Bunnies uses full hop to force me to play outside of that range more by forcing me to dash in sometimes. Gwex uses tricky movement. I think a lot of it is sort of that disguising of intent. I don't have a very concrete answer of what the options are. I think it's more using multiple options and pushing back my reaction point. I don't know if that wording is all familiar to you. If anyone doesn't know those wordings, I can clarify more. I really, uh, oh, and I've played like 3 sessions in 3 weeks, and Gwex was out of the game when I was at my most active. I played 100 grand last night. That's the best player I've played recently. They were good games. Yes, give me a reason to come in. Don't let me camp. if you let Falcon dictate the pace, I think that he wins every matchup. Falcon, who controls the pace, is the best character in the game. So you need to sort of exert your own pressure, make me solve problems. And a lot of that, I think, comes from grounded movement. I think that this is a very grounded matchup from all sides. Way better at controlling the pace than others. Yeah, I think that Falcon loses pace sometimes, but as long as he keeps it, he wins.
All right, we'll go ahead and cut off the workshop here. Thank you so much for not just EduPort, but for everybody, for for chiming in, for all the. I really love the interaction from everyone this week. So thank you once again to everyone for tuning in, and of course thank you to EduPort. I'm just learning that that's how you pronounce that, but I'm going to stick with EduPort because I
Either's
can.
chill. Don't worry about it.
Everybody, round of applause. Say your thanks for Edu. And yeah, just a quick note. We are doing things a little bit differently with these workshops. The next workshop isn't going to be right away. That's why we, got a little bit more time with Edu's workshop. But the next workshop is going to be later tonight at 7:30 p.m. PST. So that's going to be in about 2 hours from now. And that's going to be Egg Money's workshop. Um, yeah, a lot of these questions that came from, you know, the what can Yushi do on their side? You know, Edu's perspective is obviously much appreciated. I'm sure that a lot of these questions can also get addressed during Egg Money. So stick around for that. Make sure you guys tune in if you have the time. If not, then again, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a good holidays if you're in the US. If you're not, I hope you guys have a good Wednesday. Thank you again for coming through. I'm gonna sign off for a bit, take a break until the next workshop. If y'all want to stick around in the VC, that's chill. If y'all want to go enjoy the rest of your day, that's also chill.